We left our land-based home for a unique address, the Villa Vie Odyssey. But living on a cruise ship in a small space like this can present some unique challenges.
Yeah, we have had questions for months from you about, hey, how do you really live in the cabin? And of course, before we've shown you kind of an overview, a tour of the cabin, but today we want to actually show you the cabin the way we use it. So we're going to kind of take you through some of the things that we do right here in the cabin. So you'll see a little bit about the cabin and you'll see a lot about what we do in it. One of the things that really drew us to this cabin, among the things we've talked about before, was this original wood. These are the original suites for the ship, and so it's kind of classic, and we really like it. And it's real wood, and you can see it's got this really shiny finish on it. But one of the things that we've also learned is when we touch it, we have these knobs that kind of pop out, because when you're on the ship, you've got to secure these, because when the ship moves, the doors could come open. But anyway, we've noticed that when we use this, it gets fingerprints because it's so shiny. So I have my handy dandy lint-free thing that I have to use to keep it clean. But that's not the big deal. We're going to show you what's actually in our closet. We're coming out of the closet now, and we're going to show it all to you now. Here it is. Here's the inside of our closet. This is 100% of the closet space that Chris and I share here at Villa Vie. Of course, we have the storage under the bed that we use the suitcases for, and then we have some drawers in our desk. But besides that, this is pretty much our storage. So we've had to make the most of it. Of course, it's not a small amount of space compared to other cabins on the ship. We're doing okay, but we've got some depth that we didn't have before in the other cabin. But all our hanging clothes are here, so this is all of both of our clothes here. Here we've got space that used to have the life vests, and we've reclaimed that because we can put the life vests up here. They told us that was okay for regulations. So you can see I've got stuff like shorts and jeans and that kind of stuff that we fold here. One of the things that we really did kind of struggle with was shoes, because this is not a lot of space, and of course we have different shoes for different occasions and flip-flops and all that stuff. So you can see down here we actually bought a shoe rack in Panama, I think, and we scoured the city for it. We actually had a couple of failed attempts because the ones we bought before were too large and we couldn't get them in here. But this one, of course, lets us have a few rows of shoes, and then we keep the stuff we use most in front. So, you know, essentially this is all our shoes and all our hanging clothes and most of my other clothes. Chris has this side, and you can see here we've really got an opportunity to claim some more of the vertical space. So one of the things that we're going to do when we go home is attempt to find some shelving here that would let us take more advantage of this vertical space here. You can see he's got clothes here. This is our dirty clothes hamper. We don't have a lot of room here. This is actually the laundry bag that Villa Vie provides us. They do our laundry 2 times a week. So we put it in this bag, and then we fill out a form that I keep right here. Of course, this is the safe. It's a safe like any hotel. And this is kind of my junk drawer, because I had a little space on top of the safe. I have stuff in here like our Christmas tree that's that big from Christmas, and Velcro and other little stuff that we have around here. These are my 2 shelves, and you can see I've got a lot more opportunity to leverage these as well. I do have these little baskets because I don't really have a good place to put stuff like socks, and so I've had to go to Amazon and get stuff like this to kind of organize it. You can see it's a little imperfect, and then of course t-shirts and underwear and stuff like that. But this is it. I mean, this is literally all our closet. It's working out pretty well, but I really know that we can, like I said, if you think about it, we've probably got at least 50% of the space here that we could much better utilize. Over here, these are the kind of hangers that came with the place, but we actually found these really thin hangers that we bought on Amazon that reduce the footprint of the hanger, so we can get a lot of stuff in here. Besides that, you know, it's pretty well working for us. We've definitely gotten used to it. We don't have a ton of clothes here. We actually can wear a lot of the same clothes. We don't wear the same shoes and that kind of thing, but we can kind of switch it up here. So we're doing okay, and the closet's working for us, and I'm looking forward to getting it a little more efficient, a little better organized, but for now we're doing great.
One of the reasons why Michael and I upgraded to a larger cabin was for each of us to have our own workspace, our own desk. And Michael's desk is on the other side of the cabin, but this is my desk here. You can see it's pretty large. There's more than enough space for me to have everything I need to do a little bit of work. So what kind of work do I do in the cabin? Well, for a while there, I was doing, even after retiring, I was doing a bit of consulting, some research and statistical analysis work, but I've completely left that behind. I'm fully retired. So the work I do now is mostly hobby. And that hobby is YouTube editing, of course. Hopefully you've seen the work on various YouTube videos that we've done. Well, this is where all of the magic happens. Now, any money that we make from the YouTube channel goes directly into the project again, either through travel or through the accessories that you see here. So we have microphones, we have more microphones, we have tripods and accessories, and most importantly, the software. So there's software here in the background that lets us do all of the editing for the channel. Now, editing can take a bit of time. Luckily, it's kind of a passion of mine. It's how I express my creativity. So I may be here 2 or 3 hours a day. Luckily, I'm up at 6, so there's more than enough time in the day to go out and have fun, spend time on the balcony, go out on the port and do other things. But this space in the cabin needs to be comfortable for me so that I can do that work. So I'm glad to be able to share it with you.
Usually when you see me in this chair, you're watching a video, but it's just not my video chair. It's actually where I sit and do a lot of things. This is the living area, of course, of the cabin that we really like. We didn't have this in our old cabin. We just had a chair kind of in a corner, and now we've got this separate space as we've talked about before. And one of the things that I love to do here is my New York Times word games. I have to do Wordle and spelling bee every day. It's kind of my thing. I've done it for years and I really enjoy it. It's something that challenges me. It's something that I've done for a while. So having that be a part of my day when I just need a few minutes to myself, or if I just have a few minutes and want to, keep myself sharp, I do this every day and it's really something that I enjoy. I love this spot because the light coming through here, as you can see, it's coming through a good bit now, is really nice. So at different times of the day, you have different experiences. It's a comfortable place for me to sit. Chris can be doing his thing. We can be doing things all over the ship, but sometimes I just want to come here, have a seat, do my word games, and kind of have my own day. So it's a pretty cool thing to do.
Being on a cruise ship means you're far away from the everyday. You're a little bit disconnected, right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing considering the state of modern times. However, you still have to keep your mind sharp when you're here. You still have to be somewhat aware of current events, keep up on trends, know what's happening in the world. And one of the ways I would do that at home in DC is through reading magazines. Now, you can't have a magazine delivered here to a cruise ship, or can you? Well, these days you can have magazines delivered digitally, electronically, so that's what I do here. So I like to read magazines in my room. Now, I would like to read out in the ship, however, it can be difficult to find quiet spaces on the ship. You have a couple of options. There are quiet times in the library in the mornings. In the afternoons, it's more like game playing, and that can get a bit lively. Another option is the observatory. At certain times, that can be a really nice place to read, but most of the time, I'll probably be reading right here in the cabin in this chair. Now, I was talking about how you can get magazines delivered electronically, and you can do that through Apple Plus, an Apple Plus subscription. And what's great is they offer like the Netflix of magazines. So you can have all kinds of great magazines delivered right to your iPad. So I read Empire, which is an entertainment magazine, Time magazine, of course, Condé Nast Traveler, because you want to stay up to date on all of the great travel destinations and be prepared when the Odyssey reaches that particular destination, and you kind of have a leg up because you know a little bit more about it. New Scientist, so I love it. That's probably my favorite magazine right now. You can keep really up to date on the latest scientific breakthroughs. Newsweek, Men's Health. As we age, we have to keep staying aware of the best ways to stay in shape and to stay healthy. So that's a great one. There's some computer magazines, so a lot of great magazines here. So that's what I typically do in this chair in the cabin.
So one of my jobs in our little couple here is that I have to keep us stocked. And you know, when you get off on a ship and you go off for months and months, you need stuff. You need all the stuff in your bathroom, for example. So as you can see in here, we got all the stuff you have at home. And of course, we have to have it here. And if you're in the middle of some foreign country, you don't always have the ability to go get it. So of course, we've talked before, our goal is to keep this thing stocked, not only because we want to make sure we have it, but because we also want to make sure we have the exact brand and the stuff that we want, because we're particular about what we like. So I have to keep on top of this. You may remember that at one point we actually ran out of toothpaste because I didn't have a shipment come in, and thankfully the kindness of our good friends, they gave us a tube that you actually see right in there, that Colgate Total. Thank you again, Paul. But my goal is to make sure that we have everything we need and we keep it stocked. So I'm going to show you how I do that now. Okay, now I'm going to show you my stash. I think we've talked before, we lift the bed up 8 inches with risers so we can actually keep our big suitcases under there, which these double, of course, as storage. And this is my stash. So we brought all of this with us when we first got here. None of this has been shipped to us. But man, you have a lot of stuff that you don't even think about. So as you can see in here, stuff like cotton and shaving cream and, you know, stuff for your face. We both wear contacts. Chris has to have solution, I don't. Stuff for your face, toothbrushes and sunscreen and everything else. So there's a lot of stuff. And of course, like I said earlier, we're particular about what we like. So when we come to the ship, actually this is the same suitcase that I had packed with this stuff. And it's crazy because I actually put it in these things, you know, these clothes organizers for suitcases so it doesn't rattle around too much. But you can see, like, that's the stuff we wash our face with. There's a lot of stuff here, but we're burning through it. So we're going to get off the ship before long, and I'll actually do this again, bring it back, and we'll start all over, and hopefully I won't forget toothpaste this time.
We love that the Villa Vie Odyssey is fitted with a number of Starlink satellite receivers. So that allows the Odyssey to get really good internet. And fortunately, we are in a cabin in a location that gets great coverage of the Wi-Fi signal. So we're able to stream movies pretty easily. And it's great that the ship provided all cabins with these really great television sets, and it's perched just in the right location above the bed, which is where we will watch movies during the day or at night. Now, one of the things that we did was get these really soft back pillows that we can put on the bed so that we can sit up if we want to watch TV. And so that has made the experience much better, and we really enjoy that. Now, I thought I would take the time to mention the elephant in the room, so to speak, which is this painting that some of you have commented on. It is the most bizarre thing we have seen in a while. Now, surprisingly, it is based on some famous artist's rendering of a scene from Alice in Wonderland. So what we have is we have the King and the Queen of Hearts, and they have put Alice on trial. And if you could see in the corner there, the jury is composed of the animals of the forest. So it's a pretty surreal scene. Now, at one point, we plan on doing some sort of renovation, and that's going to get swapped out with something else, or it may even happen before that larger renovation. So, but for now, it gives us a good laugh and we'll enjoy it.
So here's my desk. You'll recall that Chris has a desk, and of course I have a desk. I took this one because it's actually a little smaller and it has the refrigerator. So this is my desk, but I've also got the refrigerator. We've got a refrigerator here that Villa Vie provides, and of course we can, keep stuff cold in there, but that cabinet is pretty much used for that. This is my desk, and I've got these 3 drawers and a couple of little shelves over there. I use this, because I'm the one kind of taking care of the finances, taking care of the house and that kind of stuff. We still have our house back in Washington. We've got somebody watching it for us. So I interact with her a lot, and also have to, of course, pay all our bills and do all of that kind of stuff. So this is my desk. I've actually got papers and stuff for Villa Vie and bills and all of that kind of thing here. And I don't have a laptop. I have a desktop back home that I haven't seen in a while, but I've really gotten used to using my iPad Pro here. It's big enough to where I can actually use it. I've got the pencil and things that make it, really work for me. It's also kind of the combination bar. As you can see here, we've got a wine and other things that we can use when we have people over, or if we just want to do a little ourselves, the phone and that kind of thing. And of course, this is my charging area. I'm not super proud of the way it looks. I cannot get this better organized because I've got all of these cords here. So I'm going to be working on that. It's got my hearing aids, all my speakers and all my stuff here, of course, with my 2 watches. But, I've relaxed about it, and this is kind of working for us. We're lucky that we have all these plugs. We do have plugs everywhere. It's just we happen to use the adapters for them. But this works for me. It's got nice lighting as well. You can see there's a lot of lights here, and of course this big mirror, so I can stare at myself when I'm working. But it's working for me. It again has this shiny wood, so I'm always getting my fingerprints off of it. But I also keep stuff like my backpack and my extra workout towels here. So really, when it gets down to it, works pretty well for me, and I'm really glad I have it. I didn't have it before because, of course, in the old room, we had one much smaller desk. Chris needed that for all the editing that he does, and so I'm just glad to have this thing, and it's really working.
One of the things I love about this particular cabin is its larger floor space. That gives me the opportunity to do some things that I would have a tougher time doing in a smaller cabin. So I said earlier how we love to watch movies on the television. But one of the things that I really miss about home is being able to have the cinema experience. So I used to love going to movie theaters in Washington, D.C. But one of the things that I can do is bring the movie theater here to the ship with me. And I can do that through this really cool piece of technology. So I'm sure you recognize it. Hopefully you do. It's a virtual reality headset. This particular one is a Quest 3. So one of the things it does is, instead of send the Wi-Fi signal through the television, you can send it through here, and you can watch movies through this headset. And then it will project the movie into virtual space right in front of you so that it looks like a giant movie screen. So it really gives you that cinema-like experience, which is really fun. Now, you can do a lot of other things with a headset like this. So one of the things I do is use it as a research tool for our destinations. So there is this great app called Wander, which uses Google Maps and Google Street View and satellite imagery to transport you to a destination, to a place. So if let's say, going to a city in Brazil and I want to check it out first, I can digitally project myself to that location and walk around and get a sense of what the city is like before I actually get there. So fun way to use a virtual reality headset. Now, another way that I do it is to play games. So one of my favorite games is Rec Center Paintball, and that lets you play paintball in virtual reality. So you have these different maps, and you can run through the map, and you're playing with people from all over the world, people from France and Italy, just all over, and you shoot paint at each other, and it's like team versus team. So it's a really fun way to spend a little time during the day in your cabin.
Music is a huge part of my life. It has been forever. I'm a music lover. I was in the band and played the clarinet, and that's kind of where I found my tribe in middle school and high school. And so music is really important to me. I'm also deaf in one ear, and so when I want to really immerse myself, I put my headphones on, and I love Apple Music, and it's constantly what I do. And I especially love doing it on this gorgeous balcony. So when I really want to relax, really want to chill, I can come out here. We've got these 2 loungers and chairs and everything else where I can really come out here and immerse myself. I love these. I love my AirPods, but I've also got the fully immersive Sony big headphones that I use sometimes, but it's actually really calming for me. I also meditate out here. So I've got meditation apps and kind of go into that special world with these. So this space and music is a huge part of my life and will always be. It can put me in the mood, it can take me out of a mood, it can take me back, and it can take me anywhere I want to go, and I absolutely love it. I also share this passion with a lot of my friends from college. I graduated undergrad in '85, so we were growing up in the '80s, and we love '80s music, so we're always sending each other songs from the past and memes and that kind of stuff. So this allows me to do that. I absolutely love it, and I will love it forever.
Michael and I spend a lot of time on our balcony. I'm sure you can see why. It's a wonderful space. And it's a very large space. It's very versatile. So we'll use it in a lot of different ways. One of the ways that I use it is for my meditation and for yoga. So you can see there's plenty of room to stretch here and do a few yoga practices. Also, meditation is a great thing to do on this space, particularly during sea days when you're just kind of looking out over the water and over to the horizon. Now, every now and again, you might get interrupted by a passing dolphin. That's happened, but they're more than welcome. Now, another way that I'll use the balcony is I often practice my languages here. So Michael and I are both learning Spanish, so we use an app called Duolingo. We've been using it for a while and we've made some strides. I'm also trying to relearn French. I grew up hearing French around me in Southwest Louisiana and speaking a bit of it. So I'm trying to relearn some of that and get better. And I'm also trying to learn a little bit of Japanese. So the Odyssey is going to be going to Japan in a few months. So I want to be ready with just a few words if I can. So very excited, loving this space. I hope you like it too. We hope that you have enjoyed our tour of the cabin and how we use it.
So this is how we use it. Think about you. How would you use it? We would love your ideas. Are you inspired? Can you give us some advice? If you see yourself in here, what would you do more, less, or differently? Let us know in the comments. And as always, thank you so much for coming along with us. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon.